Yeah, I'll hold him. Of course I will. Put my hand in him. Sorry, that sounds wrong.
Hola Mi Gente! We're back again on another episode of
Raices NYC. And on this episode, we have
Taide, also known as Linda Jules. I'm a social worker by day and a jeweler hustler by night.
So Taide. We've known each other for a long time. I would say like
Honestly.
6-5 years.
Yeah, 6 to 5 years. We're talking about like back in the day, Plaza, Sunset Park.
Yeah, Sunset Park. Shout out to Plaza Tonatiu, where all the entrepreneurs began, I would say. No?
Definitely. Shout out to y'all, 50 plus vendors, rain or shine. We were out there hustling.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'll be honest, they don't do it like how they used to.
No.
Oh my goodness.
No. I miss it.
No,
It was a
yeah.
vibe. Literally, cultura, community, everything just clashed together in a perfect way.
All the boroughs in one. I
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. Everywhere. People,
Yeah.
you're from the city. Hello.
Yeah, all the time.
Pandemic time. So think that we moved from there to how we are now. Things are so
yeah,
different.
we were wearing masks during the whole
Oh
time.
my
I
God.
feel like after COVID, like everything accelerated.
Yes.
Anything that you were doing during COVID, like
We had to learn to adapt. I feel like everything became, in a way, somehow accessible. I guess the silver lining was that you could do things online. Like classes
Yeah.
were online now. Work became online. But I do feel like, everything did accelerate. You had to adapt and just to the changes
I
and
think
stuff.
too, we were like all like in a room. Everybody was shut down, shut off in their rooms. So once the world opened, it was like, all right, I gotta catch up to the years that I lost.
Legit. I always joke around. I take away 2 years from my actual birthday because I lost 2 years.
Yeah, you lost 2 years.
Because of COVID, okay? So
Yeah.
I'm not 30 yet. Okay?
Yo, you're
We're
Wait.
27 at heart.
Period.
yeah.
Mi corazón.
I'm still 22. yeah.
Not the next
Yeah.
scratch. I'm still 22.
How you been? What's this Plaza Tonatiu? What you been up to? What's new about you? What
Oh my
have you
God. Well, there's so many things. Obviously, I still continue the jewelry business.
Yeah.
I did get my master's in
Congrats.
clinical social work. So to my social workers, hey, si se puede. And I will say I owe it to Linda Jules. It's a small business where we sell jewelry, custom made stuff. I hand make some items as well. We do sterling silver, stainless steel. Besides that, I feel like that really helped me pay for grad school. Grad school is not cheap. You don't get financial aid. I am not rich. So this side hustle is what helped me get my higher education. So
Yeah.
I definitely do owe it to Linda Jules and to my customers and everyone shopping and recommending. We appreciate you guys. But besides that, I'm also a mom now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have my baby Leo, Lionel.
Congratulations on Leo.
Thank you. He's 1 now, so it's also adapting to motherhood.
Yeah.
I have an awesome partner, Jeff.
So my boy Jeff, you know what's up, bro?
Baby, what's up? Hello.
Yep. Wah, wah, wah.
I think it's just adapting to motherhood and
Mhm.
now working with a degree in what I like, which is social work, and I work with children as well,
Yeah.
and manages 9 to 5, que mama, que partner, que this
Yeah.
and that, and jewelry and events. So it's been a lot. So it's, I think, time management, and it's been a good 5 years.
Again, like you're a mom. So you have your partner, you have your kid to take care of, but you also have yourself. You made it all possible. Some people sometimes are like, it's too much or this and that.
100%.
But you're right there in the embodiment of like, si se puede.
Sí se puede, yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say, thank you for realizing that. I really appreciate it. But I was telling, Adi, it's not as easy as it seems. It takes a lot. I gave birth to Leo last summer in August, and to me, it was like, oh, snap. It hits you differently. I am a small business owner. I have my jewelry business who speaks about me, mi cultura, mi comunidad. How do I project it onto my jewelry so people can see the message? Also now, how do I split the time with being a mom? This job, my title with being in the position that I am now. So it's just like all these things. It takes a while because I was forgetting about myself. I will say like this postpartum depression does hit like after giving birth. And I didn't think about it being a social worker, a therapist. I'm like giving people this advice and telling them ways to, find self-care that I wasn't taking my own advice. And I think it took a lot for me to realize like, oh snap, hello Taide. How are you taking care of yourself? Yes, you're a mom. Yes, you're a partner. Yes, you're a business owner. Yes, you're a sister. Yes, you're a daughter. But who are you now Taide? Like, does this change who you are? After postpartum, giving birth to Leo, he was 3 months. I'm over here like, man, I'm losing myself. How do I tap back into that? And I will say what really helped me was your first fashion show. When
No
you
way.
told me, yeah. And I'm thinking about it, like talking, and I'm just like, oh snap! Like Julio said, you want to be part of the fashion show and help, provide jewelry for my models, and I'm just like, yeah, I can do it. I can do it. And it was in September, and actually, it had been a month that I had just given birth. So it was so fresh. And I had asked my mom, like, are you okay if I go vend? Dad, Jeff, like, can he? They're like, yeah, go for it. And I think that kind of like gave me the energy to be like, I can do this. And it's cliche, but it takes a village. And you helped me realize, like, I can still be myself. I can still have those few hours to focus on what I like to do. And like that honestly brought me back up. Like, wait, who are you? And I'm getting teary-eyed because I'm just like, it was a moment. It was a moment. It was a moment. And I was like so lost. Excuse me. Tear. But it was a moment. And I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back.
Yeah.
I know who I am. I'm finding myself again. And thank you. Thank you for that, guys. Shout out. Because I came back from that weird place that I was in.
I think, it's very important for self-care. I always say you have to take care of yourself first, because if you're not good, if you're not straight in the head, like, you can't take care of others.
Nope,
right?
you can't. And I preach it all the time. So 100%.
Yeah. So, and I think you also mentioned that your mom and your dad help you as well.
Yes,
right?
yes.
They're huge supporters of what you do.
100%.
That's great, because I feel like without our parents' support, it's very hard to manage anything sometimes too. Sometimes they're like coming to the U.S. for a better life, and then they're talking to us about like what we're doing, and we're like, oh, we're doing this, and they're like, but like, do they really get it? Like, I don't know, right? Like, how was that conversation with your parents?
My mom always says, quiero que seas mejor que yo. My dad says, yo vine para aquí para que tú hagas sacrificios, so you can be better than I was. And that used to kind of hurt my heart, because I'm just like, I'm not trying to be better than you guys. You guys literally sembraron para que uno sea las raíces.
Yeah.
You know? Hello. And somos el fruto de tu trabajo. And we're the fruit of your job. And I think my parents are very understanding. They became more understanding because their parents weren't. My mom's from Honduras. My dad's from Mexico. They crossed borders. They met here, different cultures clashing. But at the end of the day, they had the same dream that they wanted their kids to prosper and be big. So I think my mom actually is the reason why I named it Linda Jules. My mom's name is Adalinda.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, which means pretty fairy. But I said Linda Jules, joyería bonita. Linda Jules is after my mom. Because when I was in high school, my mom would sell jewelry all the time. She sold real gold jewelry and other stuff to her friends, to people. She would go to hair salons. She would go in the factory that she was working on just to make that extra income. And I used to be so annoyed because I would go with her and I'm like, God, here we are vending. And later on, that clicked that was helping my mom make extra money to feed us, to get us what we wanted. And my dad was always present, but my mom's just a hustler. She was like, my dad worked 7 days a week. I'm not going to knock him. He gave us everything he could. And till this day, he still does. And my mom, minimum wage, working in a factory, line work, sometimes they don't treat you fairly, nor they pay you enough. So my mom had to find other ways to get it done. And she also had 2 other kids in Honduras that she was helping, sending money towards. So like, this is a thing that like, I saw my mom hustling and I saw her selling jewelry and that inspired me. And I actually started it when I was undergrad. It was like 5 years ago. And then pandemic times, and I'm like, man, I'm getting bored. I gotta do something. And mom was like, vende joyería. And I'm like, you know what, mom? I should. Why not?
Wow.
I have friends. Let's go back to the roots. And like, you need extra income. And I'm like, man, I gotta pay for grad school. I'm working at a nonprofit. I love what I do, but nonprofits, they don't pay you all that.
No, fun fact, they don't.
But you know what? I appreciated them. Started from the bottom, now we're here. But they were great. They were great. And my mom supported it. So I think that's why I felt like, okay, I can do this. My mom says, try it. And here it goes. Linda Jules was born. And I said, I gotta name it after my mom.
Moms know best. So
yes.
Shout out to mom for that.
Yes, definitely.
So this ended up just coming more natural, because you were doing it as a kid. And it's funny, again, you didn't like street vending as much as it is because you were like, but now you stepped into the same thing that your mom did, but you did it your way. Yeah. But what also still was your mom's name on it.
Like her legacy,
Yeah, the legacy.
And she's still here, thank God. And like, give her credit all the time. Without your push, I would have not done it.
How does your mom feel about that too?
She's happy. She reminds me every day. Remember when you used to be like, oh, you don't want to do it? Look at you now. I'm like, yeah, mom, you're right. And me quedo callada because I'm like, you're right, mom. Sorry, mom. Te amo.
Seeing street vendors, and you just being an entrepreneur yourself doing that, it's more respected now because of social media type seeing it. But, growing up, ir a vender, like, flowers, atole, just being a street vendor, it was just like, you'll be shy from it. Or you don't want to be seen.
People will judge you, spoke down upon, but they don't understand the hustle. If you're not a first gen, you haven't seen your parents suffer and struggle, then you don't know what we're talking about. Know, our parents came here. Some of them have degrees and they don't even count here. For some parts, for me, I was like, I was embarrassed, but not really. I was more so like annoyed that we have to do this. In my head, I was like, how can I have my mom just take a break and not always think of how can we make more money? And I feel like some people here, don't understand the struggle because they didn't grow up with the struggle, right?
Oh, yeah.
And they had the privilege to have parents that were born here or, are different
No, yeah.
financially. So
No, definitely.
And you also mentioned that you have your master's in social work.
yeah.
What made you go into that field?
Oh my God. That's a really good question. When I was in high school, I didn't want to go to college, be straight up. Why? Because I saw my parents working so much. My thing was like, how can I contribute to the household? I'm not going to go to college. I'm going to start working, doing this and that. And then I had a cousin. Her name is Janet. Shout out. She's going to be a lawyer. She's going to Yale right now.
Oh, wow.
She pushed me. She said, no, like, what are you going to do? Your parents cross borders and you're just going to work a regular 9 to 5 and be in the supermarket? Like, what are you doing? I started working since I was 14. And I was at McDonald's. I was at a supermarket. I was working all these other jobs. Yeah,
Money on you, right?
And my dad always said, no te enamores del dinero.
Yeah.
Porque va a haber más allá. There's going to be more. Don't fall in love with the money you're making now. There's going to be more in the future. And then so she kind of talked to me and like influenced me to be like, no, just try college. Just try it, see what happens. I went. I did my undergrad. And I always realized that I was always that person that people wanted to talk to. Always that person that they wanted to confide in. Like I was hearing very heavy stories as a high school student. And I also went through something really traumatic in high school. My first boyfriend passed away.
Oh, wow.
And I saw him pass away in his bed. Not to disclose too much, rest in peace, Jose, but he had liver failure at a very young age. Not because of drinking, just because, unfortunately, his liver stopped working. He had a donor liver when he was 3. Long story short, he was going to turn 21, and that liver that was donated was failing. Wow. So now he was on the list for something new, and he didn't get it in time. So he passed.
Sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Yeah, especially being so young. I can
it changes you. So yes, it changes you. And it was traumatic. And, I loved him deeply. He was like my first love in high school. And that kind of changed my perspective. It was like, how do I deal with grieving? And how do I deal with grieving, having parents that don't understand, that I also have emotions in a way? Because my dad's a very strong-headed person. And, he was like, oh, get over it. Like, go to school. You're going to be fine. And I'm just like, how do I explain to him that mental health is also important? So here I am. I went away to school. And I dormed there for 4 years. And within those 4 years, I was going through a lot emotionally. I'm talking about like drinking, partying. And I was healing those wounds in a very inappropriate, responsible way, while also being a college student, finding myself outside of the household. And still people were coming to me with these stories and expressing to them what happened. And I became an RA, which is a resident advisor. And I was basically taking care of the facilities, the buildings. Also, I needed the money because it was a private school.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, let me do it. And then I just realized I was that person people kept gravitating to. And then that reminded me like, maybe I should consider something like a therapist because I liked it. I like hearing other people's stories and I could relate to them. And I feel like,
she's like, I love the cheese man.
Right? The cheese in a good way because like, how can I help you get past this trauma?
Yeah.
And then I started working for a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. And this nonprofit is all based on social work and working with children in the community and giving back. And that's really what kind of like ignited that to continue doing what I do. Mm-hmm. And they're the ones that helped me also get my master's. I was working full-time. Okay. I was getting my master's full-time, getting home at 11 o'clock at night, almost every other day because it was night classes. So I'm full-time. I can't do like one full day of classes. I had to divide classes throughout the week at night. And honestly, it was hectic. It was around the pandemic time that I got my master's. So it was 1 year that I was fully remote, which was kind of cool. And then the other year was the first year back in person. Okay. So we had to get the vaccines and stuff and all that thing. I was like, oh my God, there's a lot to do, go in person. But long story short, I think it was the fact that people gravitated to me naturally to speak. And I felt like it was a calling for me. Yeah. I can share a story. Actually, this was undergrad. And I was a tutor at a library, in a public library in Westchester. That's where I went up to school. And there was this mom. I was helping her son. And the mom looked like, a happy woman. And I'm helping the son do the homework. And the mom's like, hi, what's your name? I said, hi, I'm Taide. I'm just a tutor at the library. It's a work study job.
Yeah.
I'm here helping, getting some hours. I'm a college student. She's like, oh, okay. Thank you so much. You don't understand how much you're helping me. And I'm just like, okay, no problem. It's my pleasure. If I can help you with homework, I understand. My parents didn't speak English either. And it was hard to do the homework because they couldn't understand what I was doing. She was like, yeah, and like, if I could tell you more, I'm going through cancer right now. I'm going chemo rounds. And like, she took off her hat and she had no hair and she started crying. And I said, you're beautiful as you are. And it became a therapy session for her. And we were there. My 30 minutes of tutoring became an hour and a half of, helping and talking to the mom. And like, that really sat with me that she felt so comfortable to share her lore, like you guys are saying nowadays. And she felt like a relief. She like literally hugged me and said, thank you so much for talking to me. I really needed that. She needed to pick me up, a conversation, and to feel human again because things were changing for her so rapidly. And to see her son so young, she was just like, what do I do? So I felt like that kind of pushed me to, what, I think I am doing the right thing. Let me just continue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think a lot of examples in life have pushed me to be where I am today. The social worker, the person who can relate to others, who can give this advice, I don't want to say a dumping ground for trauma, but just be that person that can help you navigate through these issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. In a way, they are sort of like dumping their stories and their trauma on you. How do you manage that? Where you don't take these stories and put them on yourself because they're very heavy stories. So how do you manage these stories that people are telling you?
Yeah, it's so true. Sometimes I've heard stories where I'm just like, wow, did I just hear that? What do I do with all this information? And honestly, sometimes I take a moment and I'm like, maybe I just need to cry it out. And I do cry and I have my moments. I speak to my partner and I let him know what happened or the story, or my best friends, I'm like, hey, like, you believe this happened? Like, no way. And sometimes you just got to pray on it. Like, I believe in God and I have my own reservations about God and self, but like, I believe in higher power. I believe in Jesus. And I believe like, there's someone I can talk to. And I feel like when I'm just not fully present and I'm feeling so much anxiety and stress about it, I just close my eyes and I just start praying. I'm like, listen, I pray for this family. And it's a lot because you hear some stories. I'm just like, how can I help you? I wish I could do more than that. So I'm like, I wish I was rich.
Yeah.
I just want to solve your problems because what you need is money. You're struggling. You can't pay your rent. This is your third kid. Like, there's so many things that just come into a story and you're like, how else? But I think that's a great question. Like, how do I take care of myself? And it's like, I try to find the moment to pause. I'm like, let me process. If I need to cry, I'm going to cry. I'm going to feel it. And then I try to help and give the resources that I can to this family and be real with them. And I'm just like, part of it is being real and honest. Like, mom, this is what you need to do. You pose these questions back to help them not repeat the same vicious cycle because you can't tell them like, you need to do this, this, and that, so you can be your outcome. You have to let your person figure it out for himself.
Yeah, you can't do everything for everybody because sometimes some people don't even want the help. They're just there to like tell their story.
100%. 100%.
Sometimes it's like that, but I'm glad that you are helping your community. I'm glad you're helping out the people who need it the most. And how does it feel too, being a Latina in this field? Because people gravitate to you, but then also minorities gravitate to you, right? Where you're helping another fellow Latina who's like, you know what, like, she kind of looks like my sister. She kind of looks like my friend from high school. Looks like somebody that I can trust, right?
And I think that's another part of why doing it, to be relatable as well. Being a Latina in this field, I think is really rewarding because sometimes you do need someone who has gone through similar things in your background to understand it. Like, back to being a first gen. Like, I've had people be like, oh my God, someone that can speak to me in Spanglish. Like, you understand what I'm saying. Or you understand what it means to be living in fear because your parents are undocumented. Like, that itself helps create some connectivity with your client, right? Or the person that you're serving. In my case, I'm with elementary school children and middle school kids, right? They're going through the phase of discovery and learning, who they are, what they like, and expressing the situations in a different way because they don't have the vocabulary or the terms to speak about these things. And definitely, I feel like it's rewarding, and it's also like a testament that you can do it. You put your mind to it, you can be that person, that example. And I always think about it, it's like also healing your inner self, having a person that you wish you had growing up. I think back to that, like, oh my God, like, I know 5-year-old Taide is really happy right now. Who would have thought that she's, a therapist and also has her own jewelry business and now is a mom? Like, all these things, you're like, wow, I didn't think I was going to do these things. Look at us now. So I think it's rewarding. And sometimes, like, I can't even pat on the back. Also, my parents, I'm making them proud. And my goal is to make them proud. But also, how do I make myself proud? So I think it's rewarding to be a Latina in this field.
Do you feel like as Latinos, Latinas, it's in our household, it's very difficult too to express that we're depressed, that we're going through something, just because you know we see our parents working so hard. We see them never complain. And then ourselves, you know, we get some guilt about just like, hey, like I'm going through this, and then they're not gonna get it, or something like, why are you complaining?
100%. And honestly, that was also part of the homework. Part of the homework was saying, you know, like the posture. My mom would be like, "Párate bien, estás toda jorobada." It's literally reason why I also wanted to do some of the mental health was to help my parents also heal their inner child, right? Because my mom had 2 kids young. She crossed borders to like make sure she was there for those kids. My dad lost his mom at a very early age. I think my dad was 9 or 11, and he crossed the border here alone. He was a middle school kid. And he wanted to go to school, and unfortunately he was told, you want to feed yourself, you have to work. So my dad started working at a really young age, and my dad didn't have the opportunity to heal that trauma of his mom passing away, of wanting to be something bigger, but being told you want to eat, you have to work in the USA, you know? And I think that's part of the reason why my mom and dad grew with those hard shells of like, depression, vete a trabajar, come algo, como que depresión. You don't got time for that. And I think part of that is their trauma, their response mechanism of like, oh my God, it's either fight or flight. For me, it's gonna be, it's a fight for me because I can't stay and be depressed and mope around. And I think I had to change that perspective for my parents. I'm like that, but depression doesn't only look like I'm sad. Depression could look like you're working 7 days a week, Dad, right? Depression will look like smoking a box of cigarettes a day, right, Dad? So these are things my dad was doing and didn't realize. My mom was working like nonstop and speaking down on herself and her image and stuff. I'm like, Mom, there's things that you guys need to heal. And I think it wasn't until the pandemic and my dad got really sick because of COVID that he realized mental health is real. Anxiety is real. And I'm like, it's about how do we cope with these things? And I think my parents are now more flexible about understanding mental health. I feel like it was my job to be like, listen, you're not going to fix it, but how can we cope? How can we find strategies to make things better? How do we deal with the root of the problem? And things like that. My parents wouldn't say I love you before or be like so affectionate. Now we're doing it more, you know? And I think it was just kind of digging in like, why? What happened? How can we fix this? We almost lost you, right? Like, how can we make sure that we don't forget to say I love you? And now I think my family's very loving. So there was a beauty in the pandemic to kind of help them realize, like, se le prendió un foco, like, oh snap, mental health is real. It's real. And I think it's hard for a lot of Latino families to find that truth because
we're always on the go. It's like, all right, what's next? Like, you don't even have time for yourself.
Legit.
Right?
A trabajar.
Literally, but that's also the beauty of it because yes, our parents work so hard and everything, but thanks to that, thanks to their hustle, we are where we have the ability to go into the arts, to go into jewelry making, like, you know, I can try to find time to do my business on the side.
100%.
It's thanks to that, to their hustle, that we are where we are.
I agree.
Now we're going into you do this, you got your master's, you have your full-time job. So, but also now you're a mom. You know, you have full-time. How do you now focus, like, you know, the scheduling with, you know, also taking care of your kids, seeing your kids?
Yeah, of course. Oh my God, scheduling was very hectic at first. So I didn't get to take a really long time with my baby, unfortunately, when I gave birth, because I transferred from one job to another. I got a job offering and I feel like it was a steal because the job that I'm in now, I don't have to work the summers. I get paid for being the summers off. I had to figure out a schedule where it could work for me so I can spend time with Lionel. And, you know, we own a dog daycare. And like that itself, being a business owner, it's a lot as well. So I'm like, how do we make all of this work? And I think for me we have daycare, we have child daycare. I have a schedule that allows me to pick him up, drop him off. Jeff has his own business. So when he comes out of work, he hangs out with Lionel and spends time with him while I cook and I clean. So like we kind of fall into a routine, but it was trial and error. And I'll repeat this again 1,000 times. Yes, it's cliche, but it takes a village. And whenever I need a break, I tell my mom or dad, hey, you want to take care of Lionel? And they're always down. It's the only grandson that's in New York City. My other nieces and nephews are in Miami, other ones in PA. So it's hard for them to really, you know, hang out with them as much as they can with Lionel. And even I have an awesome brother. My brother has no kids. Ladies, hit him up. He's gonna kill me. But he's like, oh yeah, I'll be the fun uncle. Let me just take him. So like they all hang out with Leo, and it helps honestly managing that time. And I think also this job that I accepted, it helps me because I'm working from what is it like 8 to 3 o'clock, or sometimes 8 to 2. So I have the afternoons to spend with him and stuff like that. But it definitely takes a village. I don't know how people do without the village, and honestly, credit to those moms that don't have that. I will say it is a privilege, and I don't take it for granted. But it's hard. It's hard to be a mom.
What's the business name of your dog daycare?
Oh yeah, it's called the Red Hydrant, and we're located on Atlantic. So if you have any dogs, there's dog boarding, dog daycare, cat sitting at home and in the place.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out Jeff, the Red Hydrant.
You touched upon motherhood. How did your relationship with your mom change after you gave birth?
Yes, that's a great question. Oh my God, me and my mom used to butt heads all the time. Oh my God, my mom's very opinionated. And I'm not going to say she's wrong all the time, but I don't know if you guys have the same mom, but Latina's mom, limpia, very vocal about everything. My mom's very vocal about a lot of things. And as soon as I had the baby, like, it's just like not about yourself anymore. And I realized how my mom's perspective of a mom, right? I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but my mom was like, always taking care of her little ducklings and be careful, come home earlier and stuff like that. Oh, you're sick. What do you need? So like being a mom now, I appreciate my mom for being who she was, so caring, for being on top of me. Like, oh, you need help? I'll come over. I'll wash your dishes. Oh, you need me to do this? I'll clean this. And I'm just like, oh my God, Mom, thank you. Yes, I need it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate it. I feel like I understand her more now that I'm a mom, because I have a little one who needs me. It's not just about me. I'm gonna wake up at 9 o'clock in the morning. No, I have to wake up at 5, feed him. Oh, the diaper, the food. Oh, I have to cook for later tonight. So all these hats you have to wear as a person. So I understand my mom always being like, on 1,000.
Yeah. No, yeah.
I appreciate you.
Just go a little bit too. Maybe like with your partner too. Like he met you and all that. And you're like a very strong, confident woman. Like I still want to do this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh my God. First off, I have a lot of personality. I advocate for myself. If I need it, I'm gonna get it done. I don't ask for permission. So I think it takes a really good partner. I think like Jeff is great. He's flexible. He's super patient with me. And I think in order to have a partner and for it to be successful, you need someone who's patient. Someone who could love every version of you, right? Because he's loving a different version of me right now. Like when we first met, I was like, yeah, vamos a unas piñas coladas, a margarita. Oh, let's go to the club, turn up. Let's do this, that. And then now we're learning each other as parents. And we're living together, right? We're learning, what do you contribute? What do I contribute? How do we become a team, right? It's not about me, or I. It's about what do we do as a team? Also, we have a little one. Also, we have our little Lola, a mini poodle, right? Yeah. So we have our 2 kids, a fur baby and, a baby. So it takes a really understanding partner. And I always say this, they have to love the different versions of you and know that the person they had a couple months ago is not going to be the same person now. And I'm not saying a whole 180 drastic change, but like, maybe I lose my patience a little bit more because I'm dealing with the baby. Maybe I need to advocate more that, hey, I need some time for myself, take care of Lionel so I can have an hour to myself. And like, I think we're good at communicating that portion. And sometimes we weren't. And I think it took for us to speak up and sit down and be like, hey, we need this.
I feel like in anything and everything, communication is key. Your partner or whoever you're working with can't read your mind. Like if you have to physically say, hey, like this is how I feel. This is what I want.
100%.
And if you're not vocal, like you said, if you don't advocate for yourself, like, no one's going to be able to help you out, right?
Another thing that I would say is closed mouths don't get fed. If you don't open up your mouth, you don't say something, it's not going to get done. Speak up, say something, and something will happen. I think Jeff is great. He's patient. I know I'm a handful, but it takes two. Takes 2 to tango.
Shout out to you, Jeff. We love Jeff.
So he's gonna be loving this.
Yeah,
he's gonna be watching this and gonna be like, oh my God.
We'll put up a picture of Jeff every time we mention his
I got so ready. Let's stay pop, y'all. I can so see that.
All right, now we're entering into one of our final segments that we call a spooky story time.
Oh my God.
What is the most scariest thing that's happened to you?
I have so many. So first off, I believe in paranormal activity, y'all. I believe in it. I believe in spirits. I believe in ghosts.
It's dark. We about to